Episode 6, A New Beginning. Scene 1, the morning after. The first light of dawn filters into the den. Keon sits beside Ronnie, his paw gently resting on her shoulder, his eyes locked on her face. Nestled beside her, the newborn cub sleeps soundly, wrapped in the warmth of new life. Their tiny breaths, soft and steady, bring a flicker of hope to Kyan's weary heart. Though exhaustion weighs heavily on him, the sight of his family renews his strength. Ronnie stirs. Her eyes flutter open, landing on the cubs. A tender smile, the first in days, touches her lips. They're beautiful, she whispers her, voice hoarse but overflowing with love. Keon, eyes brimming with emotion, leans in and nuzzles her. We made it, Ronnie, we made it through. Her gaze meets his. She's still weak, but the fire in her spirit remains. I'm just glad you're here. Keon holds her paw tightly, grounding himself in the simple truth. She's alive. Still with him. Still here. Scene 2. Kiara and Kavu's visit. Later that morning, Kiara and Kavu arrive. Kiara's face lights up at the sight of Ronnie awake, though a flicker of concern lingers in her eyes. She moves to Ronnie's side, gently sitting next to her. Kavu stays near the entrance, alert. How are you feeling? Kiara asks softly. Better, Ronnie replies her, voice steadier. It's been a long road, but they're here. I almost didn't. Her voice trails off as she looks down at her cubs. Kiara reaches for her paw. But you did. You're stronger than you think. Ronnie smiles faintly. I couldn't have done it without Keon. Kavu steps forward, his tone calm but resolute. We're here for you, Ronnie. Whatever you need. Kiara's touch is warm on her shoulder. Family looks after each other. You're not alone. Ronnie nods, exhaustion still heavy, but comforted by their presence. She glances at Keon. Whatever challenges lie ahead, they'll face them together. Scene 3, the first test. Outside the den, Keon speaks quietly with Simba and Nala. He's trying to appear strong, but the toll of recent days is written across his face. Ronnie's getting stronger, Simba says, watching his son closely. But don't forget to take care of yourself, too. Keon exhales. I can't think about me right now. I just need her to be okay. Simba nods slowly. I understand, but even you need rest, Keon. You can't carry this alone. Keon glances back toward the den. He can hear Ronnie's voice, soft and alive. He takes a breath. I'll be okay. I just need to keep going. For her. For our family. Simba places a paw on his son's shoulder. And you will. You're already doing more than anyone could ever expect from you. Scene 4. A difficult decision. As the sun climbs higher, reality sets in. Ronnie's recovery is slow. She's too weak to care for the cubs on her own. Keon rarely leaves her side, haunted by the thought that something could happen if he looks away. Noticing his growing tension, Kiara gently pulls him aside. You have to trust her strength, Keon, she says quietly. She's survived this. The cubs are safe. But what if she gets in danger? What if I can't make it back in time? Kiara, I can't go through that again. Tears start to flow down his eyes. I can't risk losing her again. Kiara takes his paw. You've done everything you can. And Ronnie knows that. You don't have to carry this alone. He looks toward the den. Torn. Feeling torn between protecting his family and finally giving himself some I just wish I could do more. You're doing enough, she assures him. Being here matters. Don't forget that. Scene 5. A new challenge. As night falls, a distant roar cuts through the quiet. The ground trembles. Kyan's ears twitch, his senses sharpening. Something's wrong, he says, rising to his paws. Ronnie stirs. What is it? I don't know yet, Keon replies, already moving. But I'll find out. Outside, the lion guard waits. On the horizon, dark shapes move, too many to be a coincidence. Bunga's voice is uneasy. That's not just one roar, that's a whole pack. Scar's followers, Keon mutters, eyes narrowing. Fully scans the distance. They're advancing fast. We have to act. Keon looks back toward the den. Hard heavy. Ronnie is still vulnerable. The cubs, defenseless. Simba approaches, placing a steady paw on his son's shoulder. We'll protect them, but the Pride Lands need you too. Keon hesitates, then nods. Dad, he says, please keep her safe, please. Let's move. We defend this land, together. Scene 6. Protecting the Pride Lands. Darkness blankets the Pride Lands as a tense stillness settles over the savannah. The stars above flicker faintly, but they offer no comfort. A low rumble travels through the earth, distant yet unmistakable. The enemy is coming. Keon stands at the head of the Lion Guard on a rocky outcropping overlooking the valley. Behind him, Sirik and a group of seasoned lionesses wait in the shadows. Below, silhouettes emerge from the brush, lions and hyenas, rough and battle-worn, their eyes glowing with malice. There are more of them than we thought, Fully murmurs, crouched beside Keon. Her ears are pressed flat, her eyes scanning every movement. Kyan's jaw tightens. They're Scar's loyalists. They're not here to talk. Boonga thumps his chest. Good. I've been waiting to knock some sense into them. Focus, Boonga. Ono warns from above, circling, in tight loops. There are at least 20, mostly lions, but I count at least 7 hyenas flanking from the east. Keon steps forward, voice low but commanding. They're trying to divide us. If we scatter, they'll overwhelm us. Keon turns to the guard. Stay close. We hold the line. We protect the Pride Lands, and each other. The collision is thunderous. Keon meets the enemy head on, slamming into a rogue lion with a growl that echoes across the battlefield. He dodges a claw swipe, counters with a powerful shoulder ram, and sends the lion sprawling. His body moves on instinct, fluid, forceful, focused. To his right, Fully sprints in dizzying arcs, drawing enemies away from the center. Her speed is a blur, confusing even the most experienced fighters. She ducks under a lunging lioness and delivers a sharp kick to her flank, sending her tumbling. Too slow, she mutters, racing on. Besht holds the left flank, a living wall of muscle and resolve. Hyenas leap at him in pairs, but he swings his massive frame like a wrecking ball, tossing them aside like twigs. Poa, he grunts, stomping the ground to knock an approaching lion off balance. Meanwhile, Ono swoops from above, calling out tactical updates. Kyan, 3 behind you. Boonga, incoming from the ridge. Boonga answers with a mighty leap from a boulder, cannonballing into a cluster of hyenas with wild laughter. Zukazama, he shouts, bowling over them like stones. Sirik leads the lions into the thick of the battle, roaring orders and fighting alongside Keon. Back in the den, Ronnie watches the distant battle, the sounds of roaring and screeching piercing the night. Her body is still fragile, her breathing shallow, but her eyes burn with fierce protectiveness. She curls her body around the cubs, shielding them with trembling limbs. Back on the battlefield, the guard begins to feel the weight of the fight. Kyan's sides heave with each breath. A gash bleeds down his shoulder. But he doesn't slow. He locks eyes with the enemy's leader, Kizaru, a towering lion with a ragged mane and cruel smile. One of Scar's oldest generals. This land doesn't belong to you, Kizaru sneers. Scar's blood runs through it still. Not while I'm alive, Keon growls, stepping forward. They clash. The fight is brutal. Claw against claw, roar against roar. Kizaru lands a strike that sends Keon staggering, but the young lion recovers, tapping into the full strength of his roar. With a deafening cry, Keon unleashes the roar of the elders. A surge of wind and ancient energy explodes from him, sweeping across the battlefield. It lifts Kizaru off his paws and sends the enemy scrambling. The lion guard regroups behind him, breathless but victorious. They're retreating, Ono calls from above. They're falling back. Silence slowly returns to the Pride Lands. Keon stands panting amidst the scattered remains of the battlefield. His mane is soaked with sweat and blood. His muscles tremble, but his heart is steady. The land is safe, for now. He turns, limping back toward the den. Ronnie looks up as Keon enters. His silhouette is backlit by the first hints of dawn. He's bruised, bloodied, but alive. He approaches slowly. The cubs stir as he settles beside her. They're safe, he whispers, voice ragged with exhaustion and relief. Ronnie meets his eyes. Her smile is faint, but radiant. So are you. He rests his forehead against hers, closing his eyes. The battle is over, but the journey of their family has only just begun. Episode 7 The Weight of Leadership. Scene 1 The Unsettling Discovery. The sun is beginning to dip below the horizon as Keon leads the Lion Guard through the savannah on a routine patrol. All seems calm, until a strange scent catches his nose. Fuley halts beside him, her ears twitching. Hyenas, she whispers. They follow the trail to a rocky outcrop, where muffled voices echo through the twilight. Hidden in the shadows below, three rogue hyenas huddle, murmuring in hushed, almost reverent tones. The ritual's almost ready, one says. The stars are aligning, says another. Soon, Scar and Zira will walk the Pride lands again. Kyan's breath catches in his throat. He crouches lower, eyes wide. The words strike like thunder in his chest. Somehow, Scar's followers have found a way to resurrect the tyrants who once nearly destroyed everything. He motions for silence and leads the guard away. Once out of earshot, he turns to them, his voice low and urgent. This isn't just talk. They are trying to bring Scar and Zira back. If they succeed. He doesn't finish. The dread in his eyes says enough. Without a moment's hesitation, Keon breaks into a sprint, heading straight for Pride Rock. Scene 2 Kyan's Reluctance. Simba is lying in the den, speaking quietly with Nala when Keon bursts in, breathless, dust clinging to his fur. Scar, Zira, they are trying to bring them back, with dark magic. Simba sits up instantly, his expression hardening. Are you certain? I heard it myself. Keon nods. They were talking about rituals, stars aligning. It's not just a threat, it's already begun. Nala's eyes widen, but before Simba can give an order, Keon steps forward, halting him with a firm tone. I can't leave, not yet. Ronnie is still recovering. The cubs are so young. If something happened while I was gone. Simba pauses, seeing the strain in Kyan's face. He remembers that same fear, long ago, when Kiara was just a cub. With a heavy sigh, he puts a paw on Kyan's shoulder. You're a father now, I understand. But the Pride lands need you too. We must be ready. Keon nods, but his eyes are still turned toward the den. Scene 3 Ronnie's Recovery. Soft golden light filters into the den as Ronnie lies curled around their cubs. Her breaths are shallow but steady, and her once weakened muscles are beginning to regain strength. She lifts her head as Keon enters. You're back, she murmurs, her voice hoarse but warm. He nuzzles her gently, and the cubs squirm and coo between them. One of them stumbles to her feet for the first time, earning a small laugh from Ronnie. They're growing so fast, she whispers, watching her children with tender pride. Keon lies beside her, his body curved protectively around them. But even here, in this peaceful moment, his eyes betray his unease. He knows the world outside this den is darkening. Scene 4 Kiara and Kavu's visit. Later that day, Kiara and Kavu arrive, bringing a touch of light to the heavy air. They greet Keon and Ronnie warmly, though concern quickly overtakes their smiles. We've heard the whispers, Kiara says. Is it true? Keon nods, explaining what he overheard. The tension thickens as the reality sets in. We need you, Keon, Kavu says. Your presence would give the others hope. Keon shakes his head. I can't leave Ronnie and the cubs. Not now. Kiara gently rests her head against his. You're trying to protect your family. I get it. Her eyes flick to Ronnie. But we're all your family, too. They sit together for a while, the firelight flickering against the den walls. Kiara places a paw over Kyan's. I believe in you, little brother. And I know whatever choice you make, it'll be the right one. Scene 5 Kiara's labor. Just as the conversation settles, Kiara winces, and then cries out, collapsing to the floor. Kiara, Kava rushes to her side. She gasps, clutching her belly. It's time. Panic erupts in the den. Kavu paces, clearly overwhelmed, while Ronnie shakily tries to sit up. Keon calms everyone, his voice firm yet gentle. Breathe, Kiara, just breathe. You're not alone. The birth is long and exhausting. But finally, under the anxious gaze of her family, Kiara gives birth to two healthy lionesses. Tears glisten in her eyes as she gazes down at them. They're perfect, she whispers. Even Keon, heavy with responsibility, can't help but smile. Scene 6. Kiara's realization. As the night deepens, Kiara cradles her daughters, a soft warmth blooming in her chest. Across the den, she sees Keon gently grooming Ronnie's fur, careful not to wake the cubs nestled beside her. In that moment, understanding dawns. She sees the weight in her brother's shoulders, not cowardice or indecision, but love. Fierce, protective love, and a fear only a parent can know. You were right, she murmurs to him. Everything changes when you become a parent. Keon smiles faintly, his eyes tired but grateful. For the first time, she truly sees him not just as the Lion Guard's leader, but as a father. Scene 7. The battle looms. The stars begin to pierce the night sky as the Pride lands settle under a heavy silence. The Lion Guard gathers below, listening closely as Simba lays out plans for defense. From high atop Pride Rock, Keon watches, but doesn't join them. His heart is torn. He turns from the den, where Ronnie and the cubs rest peacefully, and walks alone to the edge of the promontory. The wind whispers through his mane. Below, his homeland sleeps, unaware of the danger inching closer with every hour. He lifts his eyes to the heavens. The sky is vast, endless, and in it, he sees the stars begin to shimmer with unusual clarity. Just as he did when he was younger, Keon kneels and speaks softly into the open night. Grandfather, Mufasa, I don't know what to do. His voice wavers. I thought I could lead. I thought I was ready. But now I have a mate. Cubs. My heart is here, with them. But the Pride lands need me too. If I leave, I could lose them. If I stay, everyone else could suffer. I need your wisdom. The wind stirs. A hush falls over the land. Then the clouds shift, swirling and glowing faintly with golden light. A familiar voice, deep and warm as the earth itself, echoes across the sky. Keon, my grandson, you carry a burden many do not understand. But you are not the first to stand at such a crossroads. Keon looks up, and in the clouds, the faint, majestic form of Mufasa begins to take shape. Leadership is not the absence of fear or sacrifice. It is the strength to act, despite fear. You have already chosen well by protecting your family. But remember, they are not your weakness, Keon. They are your strength. Keon closes his eyes, taking in his grandfather's words. The wind wraps around him like a warm embrace. You do not face this darkness alone. Trust in Ronnie, trust in the Lion Guard. And above all, trust in yourself. But what if I fail? Keon whispers. Then you will rise again, because that is what true leaders do. The clouds slowly part, and the vision fades, but the weight in Keon's heart begins to lift. He stands tall, no longer paralyzed by uncertainty. His gaze returns to the horizon, where danger brews. He turns his head once more to the den, where his family sleeps, and nods. He knows what he must do. Scene 8. Family and Duty. Keon returns to the den, his steps quieter, more grounded. Ronnie, half awake, opens her eyes and sees him standing over her. You went to speak to him, didn't you? She asks softly. Keon nods. I needed to, Anne. He reminded me that I don't have to carry this alone. Ronnie smiles, sitting up a little straighter. You never did. He lowers his head to hers, their foreheads touching gently. I still don't want to leave you. But I know now, we'll face this together. You, me, the guard, and the legacy we all protect. Ronnie's voice is firm. Then go. Fight for them, and come back to us. Keon steps outside once more, the dawn just beginning to touch the sky with gold. With renewed clarity, he descends Pride Rock, Not alone, but as a leader, a mate, a father, and the protector of the Pride lands. Episode 8, The Gathering Storm. Scene 1, The Outlands approach. Under a brooding sky, Kion leads the Lion Guard across the dry, crackling earth that marks the border to the Outlands. Dust swirls at their paws as they move cautiously through the rugged terrain. Every shadow feels heavier, every sound, unnerving. Kion's stance is firm, yet there's a visible weight in his eyes that didn't exist before fatherhood. No one makes a move unless I say so, he instructs, voice steady but low. We observe, no risks. We're not here to fight, we're here to understand what we're up against. His team nods silently, sensing the gravity of the situation. The usual boldness in Boonga is quieter now, and even Fuley is more reserved. They all feel the change, not just in the Pride lands, but in their leader. Scene 2, The Discovery of the Army. The guard scales a jagged ridge and stops at the summit. Below them, a twisted valley stretches wide, and within it, a horrifying sight unfolds. Hundreds of hyenas, lions, jackals, and more march in tight formation. At the center stands a haunting sight, the unmistakable spectral images of Scar and Zira, not alive, but not quite dead, echoes made flesh. Dark magic pulses through the air, reanimating loyalty long buried. Kion stares down in disbelief. They've rebuilt and more. His jaw clenches. The scars on his face seem to burn. The wind howls, echoing with the distant chants of a rising army. The guard is stunned. We can't face this alone, Fuley whispers. Kion's silence is answer enough. After a moment, he turns sharply. We leave, now. Scene 3, The Retreat. The journey back is swift and silent. Kion leads with urgency, but his mind is elsewhere. Images flash in his thoughts. Ronnie, still weak, lying beside their cubs, unaware of the approaching threat. His muscles ache not from exertion, but from restraint, restraining the instinct to charge, to roar, to fight. But now, more than ever, he must lead with caution, not fury. As Pride Rock appears in the distance, a sliver of moonlight glints off Kion's mane. He doesn't slow. Scene 4, Reporting to Simba. Inside the council chamber beneath Pride Rock, Simba, Nala, and several Pride leaders gather. Kion and the guard stand before them, solemn. It's worse than we thought, Kion begins. Scar and Zira have returned. Somehow, and they're not just leading, they're building something bigger than we've ever faced. The room grows cold with silence. Simba listens, his eyes narrowing with each detail. Nala's brow furrows in concern. We don't know how they've come back, Kion adds. But it's not just resurrection. It's something darker, something old. Simba nods gravely, then gestures for Kiara to join them. We need to talk, in private. Scene 5, Simba's advice. Inside a quiet chamber, Simba faces Kion and Kiara. His gaze is distant, filled with memories of battles fought and burdens carried. Leadership is more than roaring from a throne. It's sacrifice. It's knowing when to fight, and when to wait. I wasn't ready when Mufasa died. I had to learn through pain and loss. You too, you're still learning. But you have something I didn't. Each other. Simba pauses, then places a paw on Kion's shoulder. No one is born ready to lead. You become ready by facing what scares you most. But remember, courage isn't just in battle, it's in staying when your heart demands it. Kion lowers his eyes, the words sinking deep. Scene 6, Sibling Bond. Later, Kion and Kiara sit outside, watching the stars rise above the savannah. The quiet night is comforting, yet tense. You okay? Kiara asks softly. No, Kion admits, but I will be. Kiara leans into him. We've been through too much to stop now. Whatever happens, we stand together. Kion finally smiles, a small but genuine one. Always. They sit in silence for a moment longer, the stars reflecting in their eyes. Scene 7, Kion's decision. Back in the den, Ronnie sleeps, her breathing still shallow but stronger than before. The cubs are curled against her side. Keon lies beside them, eyes wide open, every sound from outside pulling at his instincts. The image of the resurrected army gnaws at him. But then he looks at Ronnie, her frailty, her courage, and at their cubs, so new to this world. He breathes deeply and makes a choice. He whispers into the darkness, I won't leave you. Not now. No battle is worth this risk. Not yet. Scene 8. Simba's understanding. The next morning, Simba, Kiara, and the guard approach the den. They try once more to persuade Keon to lead an assault or join the council's planning. But Keon gently, firmly, shakes his head. My place is here. If I leave, and something happens to Ronnie or the cubs, I'll never forgive myself. Simba meets his son's eyes and sees not hesitation, but resolve. He nods slowly. Then we'll hold the line, until you're ready. For the first time, Keon feels fully seen, not as a warrior or leader, but as a father. Scene 9. The final resolve. Night blankets the Pride Lands. In the den, Keon keeps silent vigil. Ronnie stirs slightly, her paw reaching for his. The cubs nestle against her warmth. Keon leans down and whispers, I'll protect you, always. Outside, thunder rumbles in the far distance. The clouds gather, heavy with the storm to come. But inside, all is still, for now. Keon closes his eyes, not to rest, but to gather strength. He knows the moment will come when he must rise. But until that day, he will keep his family safe. The camera slowly pulls back from the den as lightning crackles on the horizon, illuminating the shadow of the storm that draws ever closer. Episode 9. The Unseen Threat. Scene 1. Ronnie's recovery. Ronnie is slowly reclaiming her strength. Each day brings quiet victories, her breathing steadier, her eyes brighter, her body no longer as frail. Keon remains a near constant presence by her side, his gaze shifting between her and their cubs. Though her steady recovery brings him hope, a gnawing unease never leaves him. Outside the den, the air feels heavier. Something unseen lingers, a quiet tension, a warning. Scene 2. The hyenas approach. Night drapes the Pride Lands in silence. A pack of 10 hyenas prowls beneath the stars, cloaked in shadow. Their leader, brutal and sharp-eyed, moves with ruthless intent. Pride Rock rises before them, a symbol of strength, now vulnerable. With cruel precision, they slink forward, silent and hungry. Their timing is no accident. They've come to strike when the royal family is at its weakest. Scene 3. The ambush. A snap of a twig splits the silence. Kyan's eyes snap open, his ears twitch. Muscles tense. In the pale moonlight, silhouettes creep toward the den. The threat is real, and it's close. Ronnie stirs weakly beside him, fear flashing in her eyes. She's too weak to rise. Their cubs cling to her for comfort. Keon steps forward, positioning himself between his family and the oncoming danger. His heart hammers, but his resolve is clear. He won't let them fall. Scene 4. Keon fights back. With a thunderous roar, Keon erupts into battle. He moves like a force of nature, every strike sharpened by experience, every move precise and purposeful. He claws, dodges, slashes. His roar echoes across the Pride Lands like a storm breaking. The hyenas scatter under his fury, but he doesn't let up. This is no ordinary fight. He's not just defending territory. He's protecting his mate, his cubs, his future. He fights as a leader, as a father, as a lion with everything to lose. Scene 5. Kami's first battle. One hyena slips through the chaos, darting toward Ronnie and the cubs. Before it can reach them, a small figure leaps into its path, Kami. Though still young, her stance is bold. Her growl cuts through the night. With a flash of claws, she strikes the hyena across the face. It yelps, stumbling back, stunned by her ferocity. She doesn't retreat. She pushes forward, forcing it away. From across the den, Keon sees her, and for a heartbeat, he freezes. His daughter, so small, so brave. Scene 6. Victory and reflection. Keon stands above the last defeated hyena, his chest heaving, muscles trembling. The others flee, vanishing into the night. Silence settles. The threat is gone. He turns to his family, Ronnie looking up with eyes full of pride, Cammy beside her, fierce and fearless. Keon steps to them, dropping to his knees. Overcome, he pulls them close. The weight of everything, of love, fear, duty, crashes over him. In this moment, he understands, he is more than their protector. He is their foundation, their strength, their home. Scene 7, back in the Outlands. Word of the failed ambush reaches Scar. He listens without a word, his expression darkening with each detail. Kion, alone, took down nearly 10 hyenas? His claws dig into the ground. Rage surges, but underneath it, doubt. Keon has changed. He's no longer a cub chasing shadows. He's a warrior, a leader, a father. And far more dangerous than Scar had counted on. Scar begins to pace, his mind already turning. This changes everything, he mutters. He will need a new plan, a darker one. Scene 8, the aftermath. Moonlight spills across the quiet den. The night is calm once more. Keon lies beside Ronnie and their cubs, his body heavy with exhaustion. Cammy is curled against her mother, her breathing soft and steady. Ronnie, stronger than she's been in days, reaches for Keon. Her paw rests lightly on his, silent, tender, grateful. He meets her gaze, tired but full of love. Their bond has been tested, and it has endured. It has grown. Keon closes his eyes, letting the peace settle around him. Tomorrow will bring more trials. But for tonight, they are together. And that is enough. Episode 10, The Final Countdown. Scene 1, Ronnie's full recovery. The episode begins with a peaceful moment at Pride Rock. Ronnie, now fully recovered, stands proudly next to Keon, her strength and health restored. The sun sets, casting a warm glow over the land as Keon looks at her with relief. The scars of her previous battle have faded, and the love they share shines brighter than ever. The cubs play in the distance while Simba and Nala oversee their safety. For a moment, everything feels at peace, but that peace is fleeting, as Keon knows the true battle is still ahead. Scene 2, Gathering the Forces. Later, Keon, Ronnie, and the Lion Guard meet with Kiara, Kavu, and the Night Pride to discuss the growing threat. They stand together on the edge of Pride Rock, the weight of what's to come heavy in the air. Keon addresses the group, outlining their plan to confront Scar's army. There's a sense of urgency in his voice, as he knows the longer they wait, the stronger Scar's forces will become. Ronnie stands by his side, confident and resolute. Together, they will face this challenge head on. Scene 3, The Scouts report. As night falls, the group prepares for a dangerous mission. Keon calls upon the Lion Guard and the Night Pride to scout the Outlands, but they are careful not to engage the enemy just yet. They move silently through the darkened savannah, making their way deeper into Scar's territory. The tension is palpable as they draw closer to the enemy's stronghold. Their mission is clear: gather intel, locate Scar's army, and, if possible, begin to thin their numbers before the final confrontation. Scene 4, Discovering the Enemy. The group comes upon a high vantage point overlooking a vast encampment. They freeze as they see the sheer size of Scar's army. Nearly 400 hyenas fill the camp, and scattered among them are around 25 lions, many of them larger, battle-worn, and intimidating. The scene before them is a terrifying sight, and Kion's heart sinks as he realizes just how outnumbered they are. The group watches in silence, calculating their next move. There's no way they can face this force head-on, the odds are too great. Scene 5, The Plan. Back in the shadows, the Lion Guard and the Night Pride regroup. The situation is grim, but Keon refuses to back down. He knows that they must do something to even the odds. Ronnie speaks up, her voice steady but determined. She suggests a plan. They will begin by picking off the hyenas in smaller groups, creating confusion and weakening their numbers. Kiara and Kavu nod in agreement. knowing the risks involved but understanding that it's the only way to make the battle manageable. Kian's leadership is tested as he weighs the consequences of each decision. He looks at Ronnie, her eyes filled with quiet strength, and he knows this is the only way forward. Scene 6. Simba and Nala's duty. Meanwhile, Simba and Nala remain behind at Pride Rock, where they look after the cubs. Simba watches over his grandchildren as they play, the weight of the looming battle clearly on his shoulders. Nala keeps a close eye on the cubs, making sure they stay safe while their parents and the others venture into the heart of danger. The bond between Simba, Nala, and the cubs is undeniable, and their presence provides a small moment of comfort in an otherwise tense time. Scene 7. The First Strike. As dawn breaks, the Lion Guard, Ronnie, Kion, Kiara, Kavu, and the Night Pride make their way towards Scar's army. They use the terrain to their advantage, sticking to the shadows and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Kion, his heart racing, signals for the first wave of action. The team moves quickly and efficiently, silently taking down small groups of hyenas. Each successful strike is met with a quiet cheer, but there is no time to celebrate. They know this is only the beginning, and their work has only just begun. Scene 8. The enemy responds. After taking down several hyenas, the group realizes that their presence has been noticed. A few hyenas spot them, and the camp erupts into chaos. Kion quickly signals the group to retreat, but it's too late. The hyenas are closing in. The Lion Guard and the Night Pride fight fiercely, using their combined strength and skill to defend themselves and stay ahead of the advancing enemy. Kion leads the charge, determined not to let his family or friends fall to the hyenas. Ronnie, ever the warrior, fights alongside him, her resolve unwavering as she faces down her own share of enemies. Scene 9. The Escape. The battle is fierce, but Kion and the others manage to create enough confusion to break through the hyena lines. They retreat, but not without losing a few precious moments and some minor injuries. As they head back toward the safety of the Pride Lands, the weight of the battle's aftermath hangs heavily on them. Kion's mind races with the knowledge that they will have to face Scar's full force soon. The battle has just begun, but the danger has never been clearer. Scene 10. Regrouping at Pride Rock. Once back at Pride Rock, the Lion Guard, the Night Pride, and Kion meet with Simba and Nala. They report their findings and share the details of their strike on Scar's army. Kion, though proud of their success, knows that they are not yet ready for the full battle. The odds are still stacked against them, and they must prepare for the fight of their lives. The gravity of the situation is clear to everyone, and they all feel the weight of the responsibility they carry. Simba looks at his son and daughter, his voice serious but full of wisdom. This fight will not be easy. But remember, leadership is not about taking the throne, it's about earning the trust of those you lead. Kion and Kiara exchange a look, understanding the depth of their father's words. They know the responsibility ahead is not just about fighting Scar, but about being there for their families and the Pride Lands. Scene 11. Kion's resolve. Later that night, Kion stands alone outside Pride Rock, staring out into the distance. The stars above remind him of the weight of his role as leader. He knows that the battle is far from over, and he is determined to protect his family at all costs. His thoughts drift to Ronnie, the cubs, and all that is at stake. With a deep breath, he steels himself for what's to come, knowing that whatever happens, he will not falter in his duty.